technologies. Friends, just a minute, excuse me. Thank you. But note that urbanization is not a unidimensional phenomenon. Planned urbanization is not a unidimensional activity. If we pursue urbanization in a single dimension, we are likely to create imbalance and miss out on certain, like you design a railway engine, because you say urbanization is engine, cities are engines of growth. So let me say about engines. You develop an engine and some parts are not well designed, naturally it will not work. As simple as. So it must have economic perspective. Economists say it must generate wealth, and they are right. Architects say that it must be well designed structures, green buildings, beautiful buildings, signature buildings, urban form. They are right. Planner's perspective, it should be holistic. The URDPFI guidelines. Is there anybody from planning department here, town and country planning or with the planning background? So the URDPFI guidelines talk of holistic planning for any habitation. And technology say it must be ICT enabled, ICT driven. They are right. ICT driven, then only smartness will come. Sociologists will say that it should be social equity. The smartness of a city should not lead to marginalization of some people or areas. We should not become smart, 80% people become smart at the cost of 20% people. That's not smartness. Environmentalists say green. There should be no burden on any part of the city or surroundings. So all are right. So you prepare a plan, take care that it is holistically. In the action plan, when you are preparing the projects, individual projects, take care of 5 dimensions of sustainability. Test it, like test of goodness of the project is financial sustainability. The project must pay for the capital and operational expenses. Don't just say somebody will fund it. Some JICA loan will come in. Some World Bank loan will come. Some Government of India grants, which means we have not struggled to analyze the project well enough. You work hard to find out what are the economic fallouts. Are people here with economics background? I am sure you are, many are. There is economic rate of return of a project. This is financial rate of return. Conveniently, the projects show 20% economic rate of return, financial rate of return minus 2%. That is how it is. So it is not a good project. You must work hard to find out how you have worked out the economic returns. Who are the gainers for the economic return? They must pay for the financial returns also. As simple as that. Don't load entire return on the project per se. A sewage project will not. Sewage cannot pay for entire capital, operational. It cannot never pay. I mean, sewage cannot pay. Even metro rail cannot pay. If I can say that. Similarly, environmental sustainability. In terms of time and space, don't create a green area in a way that tomorrow it will become a nuisance. Don't create something which becomes a burden tomorrow. Similarly, don't remove the garbage from this area and dump it in some other area. It must be sustainable environmentally in time and space. Technologically sustainable both for hardware and software. It should not be left with monsters, technological monsters which we cannot digest or handle, who start dominating us. And we become slave to the technology. Managerial sustainability, again critical. The municipalities are out. I mean, this is not only now, as very far, about 3 years before in some city, let me not name the city, major city of India, the water board had just commissioned the water supply project. And I told them, when will you hand over to the municipality? The person said, sir, I am very nervous to hand over. I have to hand over by your direction, because MOUD's direction says project should be handed over, municipality must be given power. These guys do not know how to press this button. They will press wrong button and my project will, it may be derailed. So he says that that is not a good way of, sorry. Okay, I'll put in silent mode here. So take care that the municipality is able to generate capacity to manage the project. That is very, very critical for a smart city. The local body must be able to handle the project after commissioning. You cannot commission all right. After commissioning, with proper training during commissioning, post-commissioning, in a year or two, they must start. Then social sustainability, I mentioned already, gainers and losers and left out people must be taken care of. A city must brand itself. Do not rush to do same solution for all cities. Today it is happening that all cities have started looking alike. You are getting same food in every city. I mean, yesterday for lunch I had to struggle to find out a proper place for Maharashtrian food. But I said, whenever I go somewhere, I look for local food only. Typical, local, authentic food. That is all. It was a, and everywhere, not only Pune, anywhere there is the same thing. Where you go, what should a city look like? It is not very difficult to find because the cities have grown according to the ambience. How the undulations are there, how the greenery is there. All those have defined the cities over the years. But now, architecture books are common, all come from USA. Books of architecture come from USA. So therefore, all read that book only, all design like that only. Therefore, mold the signature buildings into the local, form, local history, local culture. It is possible. And make the city have fundamentals. Is it if Pune or any city is a cultural city, let it remain cultural city as a focus. Let there be commercial activity, let there be educational activity, but all should nurture the basic cultural heritage of the city. Don't say that only this is a temple town, so nothing else no industry will come here. That may not be correct. Get industry but molded into the history of the city. It is possible. But if you ignore it, then you have a challenge. Then temple will be dwarfed by big industry. The temple will be lost in the midst of big buildings and until you reach the Garbhagruha, you don't know whether the temple here or not. Then similarly tourist city and so on and so forth. So there are governance challenges in master plans are a big challenge, not available or outdated. Municipalities are not strong enough, though I must say with happiness that Maharashtra and Gujarat are two states, thanks to their history of Bombay Presidency era. The municipalities are relatively stronger here than rest of India, but even so they have to be strengthened. Who is the owner of the city is a big question. If you have a problem, then you go on searching solutions. If you have to get a project to be approved, then there are umpteen authorities to approve. Nobody is able to say that you are my client, or I am your client, whichever way you put it. Let us deal with each other and take the project forward. There are too many owners, so to say. Skill deficiency is a very major problem. Aging again I said about the population crisis. I suppose, madam, I have got another 10-15 minutes. Is there an issue of time? Yeah. Okay. So aging population is an issue. Don't ignore that. Housing, haphazard housing, proliferation of slums, integration of a smart city with the region. City cannot survive by itself. And the SPV, we designed the SPV to be a help or to become a burden for everyone? And the financial issues which we discussed before and we will. I am skipping this SPV details, you are aware of it. We have discussed some part of it already. When we prepare the smart city framework, the very first layer of planning is to deal with the nature. And in that also, before air comes, later I will discuss, but flooding is the first thing. The storm water must find its natural course. Use the geospatial maps, Bhuvan or whatever map you want to use. It must flow in the natural drain. Of course, the man-made drain should not join the natural drain. No, sewage should not join. Sewage should be 100% recycled and reused as far as possible local in the locality itself. We have set up certain projects, model projects are there. You can manage that in locality itself. Small projects don't require land to be acquired. We say land acquisition is a major challenge. We acquire land without thinking why can we go in for an alternative solution without going in for land acquisition. Biodigesters give a very good option for congested areas like slums or far-flung areas. These are the models of biodigester below the railway coaches they have installed, railways have installed. Solid waste management again, 100% recycle and reuse. Every city must not have landfill at all. No question of landfill. Zero landfill. Let us work on that. Let universities and research organizations join hand to see that last mile connectivity, the last part of refuge, how to recycle it, how to make brick out of inert material which cannot be recycled. That is the research activity. That is the research activity. Nothing is impossible. Our minds, Indian minds are very creative. They can find solution for every problem, I would say. So decentralized unit, very low cost, low land requirement, low gestation period, low management technique, low management cost. What more do you require? But no glamour. It is not a big item for a news headline, 100 crore project sanctioned. It will not be making that kind of 50 lakh project sanctioned. That is that much if you can digest. Rest is all fine with this. Construction and demolition waste management, again, in situ, recycle and reuse also. It is possible with modular plant like this, which we installed in Delhi in one of the government projects, redevelopment projects. Modular plant, put in the truck and take away when the project is over. Smart transportation systems, walk to work safely and quickly. That is how it has to be, and it is possible. In subsequent sessions, it will be discussed. Smart buildings, be safe and net zero waste, net zero energy. These are the concepts. Those who are designing buildings, take as a challenge. This is how it is. It is possible. Again, I want to discuss with you. Those who are really serious, and you ought to be serious if you are in one of these sectors or all of these sectors, work on that. Let us discuss how it can be worked out. You don't need money actually from outside. Everything will pay for itself. ICT standards are there. Safe, when depend too much on ICT, then safe storage and easy access is the target. And for the financing, which is very critical, as I said, the broadly speaking, EIRR is equal to FIRR. Work on that. Those who are in finance department should not let go, should not approve the project until the project promoters discuss adequately why EIR is still not equal to F. Let them discuss. Let them discuss. Don't just accept it on the face value. Air is clean and therefore who will pay for air? Yes, every citizen will pay for clean air. Every citizen will pay for clean air through sales tax or property tax, whatever it is. Cost savings also must be worked out. You bring a new technology, cost saving. Use it as a part of funding the project by putting the escrowing the account. Whatever is the budget expenditure now, you are making saving. The saving must go to fund the project. So make existing cities also smart. Let us not rush to make only new smart cities. I am very much anxious and nervous about projects like Gift City, Dholera City and so on. I don't see very bright future for such ventures because of the situation which recently global economic situation which is not likely to be remaining a unique thing. It may happen again. Go for making existing cities smart. Now friends, I conclude by showing some visuals which should give us confidence as to how things can be done within India and abroad. So I start with some global pictures and then come to Indian pictures. So this is a typical city, today's city, erstwhile. You don't feel something very out of the world. In our country, a lot of such situations are there, but this city could become like this. It took 150 years, all right. See how much wealth is coming in New York, is the financial capital of the world in many ways. Though they say London also is, but whatever. Again, another city, this is Barcelona. I think how many have gone to Barcelona from here? Yes, you have gone. You have. Yes, it is the Mecca of urban people nowadays in India, everybody. So you must have visited this place also. See, in 50 years, again 50 years becomes 40 years in Seoul. Some people have gone to Seoul also, I suppose. Gadgil sahab, aap to gaye honge zaruri. You must have sat there also where the water is falling. You must have got photographed. There is a sewage open. Yeah. This is another city, China, 30 years. So 150 become 30 and you can make in 5 years now. You said 10 years for Pune. I think, of course, 10 years is required. But in 5 years also we can do a lot of it. See, these are the other features. In Kankadia Lake in Ahmedabad, before and after, huge amount of economic activity is now going on surrounding Kankadia Lake. is part of that. Indore Lake, before and after. Sabarmati river, you have got Pune and other cities have got rivers which are like this only, if not worse or slightly better. This Sabarmati river front has become like this. Huge wealth is coming from this area now. A lot of property development going on. Entire cost will be repaid in short time. This from Kochi promenade, I have walked on this, it was just constructed 2 years before. You must have seen this. It was earlier full of hawkers and vendors. Look at the property where these flats were not carrying much value. Now value has shot up like anything. So that's all, friend, I think. I mean, this is a statement from Thomas Alva Edison, who said he doesn't work hard on the figures. He works with the experiments. That is how he comes to the results. So now, of course, you have got computer programs and so on. You can do things much faster than Edison could do. And you will succeed surely in your venture to make your respective cities and towns and projects smart. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, for sharing a wonderful insight and also a presentation on smart cities. Now, we are moving towards the first session, inaugural session, which is smart planning for smart living. See, this conclave has been designed with a very analytical and very knowledgeable panelist and analytical presentation from different renowned authors and industry captains. And when we talk about smart city, you know, there is much talk on the paper, but in realistically, when we analyze those things, there are a lot of missing elements. The first and foremost thing is the mindset. We don't have the right mindset to understand the concept of smart city, because when we term a city smart, it has to be livable. But in many cities like Pune or Mumbai, there are many things missing. The basic ingredients, we have facing a scarcity of water, we are facing the public transport system is missing here in Pune. So these are the elements which we are trying to explore, and how we can address and redress these missing elements in the smart cities. So the first session, inaugural session, will dwell upon on those elements, and we will have different panelists for this session who will talk about different perspective: smart infra perspective, smart construction perspective, smart administration perspective, which is very crucial for making the smart city a reality, because unless and until we have the smart administrative setup, we won't be able to have a city, because that is something very much required. The other is we need to have smart policies. So I would take this opportunity to welcome our distinguished panelists and eminent authors for the inaugural session, Smart Planning for Smart Living of this conclave. And I'm thankful to the Binani Group for sponsoring the title, and also Finolex for as a co-sponsor. I request Bina Verma, Group CEO and Editor, to come on the dais to facilitate and welcome the first panelist of our inaugural session. I request Mr. Sudhir Krishna to come over the dais. And may I have the bamboo shoot for this? I request Mr. Kadkil Sab to come over the dais. So JP Shroff. Professor Srihari. Dr. Rastogi, Mr. Nitin Kulkarni, Mr. Ranjit More is on his way. He will join us in a couple of minutes. For this session, we have Mr. Sudhir Krishna. I don't need to introduce him. He is a cadre IAS 1997 batch IAS officer. He has been associated with in the bureaucracy of India. He's a joint secretary in the fertilizer. He was the secretary for urban development. He was the secretary for Central Finance Commission, and he will share the smart administration elements in the conceived smart city. On the other, we have Mr. Gadgil, who had a wide experience in the infrastructure, who is associated in the metro projects across the country, and who is leading the Hyderabad metro projects from the L&T side. So we are really very fortunate to have him on this panel discussion. On the other side, we have Mr. Jay Prakash Shroff, Director of Shroff Group, who has a wide expertise in different area. He was the chairman of Kaushal, who will be sharing the requirement of smart skills in smart city, because unless and until we have the right skills to execute and implement the smart cities, the smart city concept will not be possible. We have Mr. Srihari, who will be analyzing and scrutinizing the missing elements in the policy and what we need to do in bringing a smart, uniform policy structure in India to make the smart city projects a reality. And on the other side, we have Mr. Rastogi, who has been associated with the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, who has a lot of experience in analyzing and scrutinizing the climate changes across India and also all the world. He will be talking about the sustainable aspect. Unless and until the city is not sustainable, this term smart become very vague. So he will be talking about the sustainable element of smart city. And I have Mr. Nitin Kulkarni, who will be talking about the most crucial element of smart city, that is smart water management, which is something very striking both the city of Pune and Mumbai and across all the major metropolitan cities. So he will be talking on that aspect. And Mr. Ranjit More, who is the chairman of Universal Construction, who will be joining us. He will be talking about the smart construction elements of smart city, because we have a very narrow mind approach towards construction. We are not thinking about the sustainable elements. We are not thinking the durability of the construction. So we will talk about how quality equipments and quality construction materials are a crucial ingredient in erecting smart city. So we will start with the session. I hope Mr. Ranjit More will join us soon. I will start with Mr. Dr. Sudhir Krishna. My question is, when we talk about smart city, the administration is something very much required. And when we look into the local, the state level, and at the union level, there is a lot of mismatch in administration. So what needs to be done to resolve that deadlock in the administration network to bring it into a smart way?
I think the fundamental requirement is that there should be a unified governance model which should be responsive to the people, answerable to the people, accountable to the people. And there can be no other forum than the municipality. And so therefore we have, with the plethora of authorities we have, in terms of environment approval there is one authority, transport approval there is another authority, for layout plan approval there is development authority. I mean, one has to list out, and the developers here, project developers know that. So what I would say is that while we cannot do away with the laws are required, authorities are also required. But if the municipality can be declared as the prescribed authority under different laws, so that there will be a real single window that becomes available. Municipality should be the authority under the environmental law also, and under several other laws, and that is one recommendation I would make. And second thing I would say, for now, that the only 2 points I will make, that we should have heavy and this is possible, and we should have heavy dependence on ICT for governance. That will make the whole thing more conveniently possible to make the municipality as the single source. And one more thing, I said 2 only, but third point is database. The local city level database will help in good governance. So these are 3 points I would make for now, and others I will make as we go along for this.